Hello, hello, hello. I'm Ed Jones II. I'm the founder of the Beyond the Field program and an experienced player development professional. This podcast is here to bring exposure to the player development field with the goal of creating generational impact in athletics and other surrounding areas. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend time with me on this platform. I listened to Tim Bryson's Walk with TFB podcast. Shout out to Tim. Please give him a listen if you haven't. But he talked about what he's learned since he's been podcasting. So I'm going to take what Tim learned and I'm going to have some call to actions here for you at the beginning of this episode. Go follow Beyond the Field on Twitter and IG at BTF_program and on Facebook at BTF program. These episodes are also loaded onto YouTube so you can find us there. Search Beyond the Field program and subscribe there. Please rate and leave a review of the show. It would mean so much to me. If this show has impacted you in any way, please give us a 5-star rating and leave a review. When you do these things, other people get exposure to the show and the impact that's being made. In today's episode, we will complete our series called The Questions of Player Development. We will begin the show after this ad by our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Beyond the Field Program, LLC. Beyond the Field is now providing consulting services. The services are the following: staff consulting, program evaluation, program creation, and player development education. Please head to btfprogram.com and click on our consulting tab to find out more. We help you help athletes create generational impact. All right, today we conclude the series called The Questions of Player Development. It has been an incredible series. Thank you all so much for listening. The past year, I collected a number of questions for my next book. I decided, why not bring the book to this podcast? In this episode, we will cover our final questions 34 through 37. Question 34, in your time in the player development role, which initiative have the student athletes been the most receptive to? Using my experience from multiple universities that I've worked at, the most receptive initiative is the Community Impact Initiative. Student athletes at all the universities that I've worked at have willingly given their time to serve the community. In the role, I have given the student athletes 4 areas in which they can impact the community: children, hunger, health, and the environment. The reason why I created these areas is because I had some players before, coach, I don't like being around children, but I definitely want to help, feed those who are hungry. Or I may want to help those who need some encouragement in their health. Or I may want to go out into the environment and do a cleanup. So we created these 4 areas to give our players a plethora of opportunities to create community impact. This ability to choose an area of impact significantly helped our community impact growth in quality and quantity. If you want to learn more about the Beyond the Field Community Impact Plan, please visit btfprogram.com and click the blog section. There are also links to those blogs in the show notes. Question 35. What are some workshops that you would like to see athletes take part in? I would like to see more assessments on who they are at the moment: personality, leadership, and similar assessments. Most of our programming is to give them skill to prepare for the future. We're giving them some type of skill. Here's the skill. Here's your resume. Here's this. Here's communication, mock interviews. This is how you network. But I would love for them to see who they are now, where they want to grow, and who they want to become. Then from there, specialized programming to help them achieve their goals. It may not be necessary to do an assessment every year, but I believe it will be beneficial when they arrive on campus, halfway through their career, and as they transition out of being a student athlete. In this method, they can tangibly see the growth that has happened in their lives. Question 36. How do you approach working with leadership development for first-year student athletes? I think the first thing that's necessary after they do housing, their orientation, academics, all of that, is an assessment for those first-year students, for them to see who they are and possibly how their traits right now will help them as a leader. I think the best leaders have the greatest understanding of who they are in their strengths and in their weaknesses. These assessments also allow the student athletes to have dialogue with others about what they found. They can put down their goals of growth for themselves, and also by doing this in a group, they can create immediate accountability. Question 37. What is the biggest challenge or obstacle to getting athletes to buy into development initiatives and programs? Breaking down the athlete identity that has been cemented in them since they were young. This can be tough, as most of these athletes have been the man or woman in their sport and in their area for a significant length of their young lives. You have an athlete here that the success they've had in their life has been tied to sports. It could be every success, some success, most success, but whatever it may be, they tie who they are, what they've done, and how they make others feel and how they feel to the sport. That is the hardest part of creating the buy-in. They may see what you can do for them, but what does it do for the athletic ability? What, you provide this. How does this help me in my sport to see that success I've seen my entire life? Once they trust you and see that there's a beneficial plan for them as a person and the impact their personal development can have on them as a player, buy-in becomes easier. They're there. They were recruited to play the sport. You have to help them see that by doing these programs, by doing these initiatives, by building themselves as an overall person, it will benefit them as an athlete. All right, time for the former player shout out. I want to give recognition to those that I've coached or led who are doing great things beyond the field. This episode, I want to give a shout out to Julian Chandler. I coached Julian at Hightower High School. He may be the only person who's ever called me EJ. And Julian, if you listen to this, you knew how much that used to get under my skin. Julian was a high-performing multi-sport athlete for us. He was selected to the all-district list multiple times. He also made the academic all-district list multiple times as well. His football IQ was incredible. He was a great communicator and was a beloved teammate by his peers. I had the pleasure of spending 2 years with Julian at the University of Kansas, where I saw him mature into the young man he is today. He started his photography business in 2019 while at KU. It started with him taking pictures of the snow in Kansas and then quickly transitioned to so much more. He has now captured family portraits, graduations, lifestyle, sports, events, and many more types of shoots. What started out as a hobby turned into a media business. He has been booked to record music videos in Houston, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Denver. Picking up his professional camera in 2019 turned his name into a brand. Julian, I am so proud of you. Seeing you creating success in your passion has been a joy to see. Well, that's all for today. Tag us on social media and let us know what you learned about player development from today's show. Use hashtag the PDPod as a hashtag for our show. Go visit the website btfprogram.com and check out the resources and the blogs. While on the website, purchase Beyond the Field Volume 1, which details my career in player development and how you can create a program where you are. Subscribe to this podcast on the platform you're listening to. Share this podcast if you believe it will benefit others to learn more about player development. Next episode, we will discuss name, image, likeness, or NIL in player development as NIL comes around on its 1-year anniversary. I look forward to the next podcast. Thank you for tuning in and spending your valuable time with me. God bless you. Have a great day. Go out and create generational impact. Don't wait. Create that generational impact today.